Okay, everybody, we are holding up a relatively good schedule with the ramens. We have to keep going. There's definitely not a lot of time before the next ramen's going to be put out on YouTube, so gotta keep a backlog, gotta keep recording, and we gotta keep the stuff moving in my fridge. Still got half a block of tofu. And let me tell you what, there is this tofu from Trader Joe's. It's the organic sprouted tofu. That shit is amazing. Cracked it open the last couple of times. I had some ramen, and it's so good I could just eat it by itself. And tofu is normally pretty bland, you know, but it just has the perfect mixture of flavor and blandness to it. It's just like, oh my god. And that sounds kind of weird because tofu's a weird food, you guys. Lots of foods out there are just kind of their own thing, and they have to be appreciated like that. You can't you gotta stop selling them as other things because they're all good in their own right. So as far as the tofu goes, this is one I recommend. Okay, so there's a couple of products that I'm kind of sitting on that are irking me. I think I finally got a way that I'm going to review them. One is the Little Sheep Hot Pot. This motherfucker has been on my to-do list forever, and I absolutely hate it for that. No instructions on how you're supposed to prepare it. I will have to get those either offline or from some generous contributor. Those have been sitting around for just ever, and they're just a broth. They're just a stock, I think. They got a lot of packages inside of them, so I don't really for sure know what they're about, but I have the regular and the spicy version. Gotta figure out what's going on with those. I also have a couple of packages of shirataki in my fridge, and I've been sitting on those forever. Thankfully, shirataki just like doesn't have an expiration. Like, it lasts forever and ever and ever, and we're gonna put that to the test. So I got some, like 2 blocks of konnyaku and 2 bags of shirataki. We're going to put that to the test along with the hot pot. We have several different other types of noodles as well that we could test with the hot pots. We'll also be able to just give reviews of the noodles that we have too. Got some glass noodles, I got some fucking so mein, I've got some ramen egg noodles, a couple of different things that we're gonna try out along with that shirataki. All that being said, we gotta get ramen going today. And what better ramen than daily ramen, everybody? But as you can see, this is made with Japanese technology. Does that mean like the mechs from Neon Genesis Evangelion or whatever made that shit? I don't know, but it is definitely an interesting titled ramen. Packaging on this guy is, yeah, it's pretty decent. That looks spry. Looks very entertaining and engaging with this blue and yellow. Pops quite a bit. It is very easy to figure out what's going on here too. We got 400 milliliters of water. This is going to be the Vina Acecook Instant Noodle Hot and Sour with Shrimp. I'm not a big fan of hot and sour soups, not normally. That combination of flavors, it never really suits me too well, but I've said that about many different styles of soup in the past, and I have been proven wrong. But the thing is, if you were asking for a hot and sour soup and you got something different from what I'm remembering, would you be pleased with that? We're gonna have to find out. So packaging on this one, I mean, it's nice, it's decent. Everything about it pleases me. We're gonna give it a 2. We're gonna give this a 2. Great presentation, everything you could want to read on it, all of your nutrition facts, everything in English. It's great. Speaking of everything in English, we are going to have 1 serving size in this container with a salt margin of 1,566 milligrams. So it's definitely going to be a lion's share of your sodium for the day, but it's not going to be overboard like anything we've had in the past. We actually had to deduct a point from that last motherfucker because it got over your daily amount of salt. I didn't think that sodium would calculate into point factor, but it is most certainly if it's going over your daily amount. We gotta go cook this bitch, and we will be right back, everybody. See you then. To the pot! Okay, we are back, and we are here with the soup. Doesn't really remind me of hot and sour by the smell at all. Oh boy, it's some kind of weird smell though. Well, we'll see what that's all about. A couple of things of note about this soup as I was eating it. One of those is that the noodles take 1 minute to cook. That's not a lot of time. They were definitely a different kind of noodle. I've never seen them come in this weird, like, rounded square thing before. And the color of them was, like, definitely more of a yellow hue. I don't know if they have, like, saffron or whatever in them or something, but they are definitely, like, smaller noodles. What else can I say about them? Yeah, they really didn't get broken up too much in the package. That was really nice. But yeah, don't know too many of other noodles that, like, cook that quickly. Should be an interesting experience. There were 4 different packets in this bad boy. There was 2 different oil type packets. I'm hoping one of those isn't like a black bean, because I'm not such a huge fan of that flavor. There's like a black bean paste out there that's a part of some ramens, and it's just like, oh god, what is this, dirt? There was a vegetable packet, a soup base. Yeah, lots of different things going on with this one. Again, should be an interesting experience. One of those packets was really troublesome. Like, there were 2 oil kind of packets, or paste packets, and I put them in the hot water for a little bit just to kind of like warm them up to work them out. But one of those is just like a super sticky resin or something. It got a little bit on my fingers, and it was a real bummer. It's like, how are you supposed to get that out of the package without it getting all over you? Because it's like really, really super sticky. It's like pitch almost. I don't know if I got all of it out of the package, so let's hope that isn't like my favorite flavor of this ramen. But let's give these noodles a shot. There they are. They do look interesting. What is going on there? Okay. Is that how it's gonna be? What a bummer. I think I'm bummed out. Oh, this is not good. Heavy bitterness. Heavy bitterness at the end. I don't know what that's all about. Not very characteristic of a hot and sour soup, which normally leaves you with kind of like a tangy sort of flavor at the end. Maybe like a tangy umami kind of thing. This is not reminding me of that at all. The noodles come off tasting like cardboard or something at the end. The aftertaste is just terrible. Is that the noodles? The texture on them is all right. Like, I'm not impressed. That is just awful. We give the Maruchan and Top Ramen noodles a 3 out of 10 because they're, you know, they're pretty bad, and they're covered in the TBHQ, and they go like super soft instantly, and they're just like terrible. These, I think, are gonna go under those because they just have a terrible flavor with them. Them being cooked for only a minute, I would imagine they do get overcooked pretty easily, which I'm gonna say good on the company for only suggesting a minute for cooking time. Little tiny hints of spice at the end. Very far at the end. Like, I'm in my, what, 3rd bite? It is so unpleasant, though. When you first put the noodles up to your face, it's like an inner tube farted. You know? It's like, this is a terribly unnatural smell. Oh, God. And I can't tell if that's the broth or the noodles, but we're about to find out. What a confused broth. This is supposed to be shrimp. And there's a couple of different things that you can, like, define as shrimp, everybody. And working in the seafood industry, I can tell you, the shrimp flavor isn't like shrimp tail, you know. Shrimp flavoring is the rest of the shrimp. Like when you meet people who are really enthusiastic about shrimp, they don't just like eat the tail, you know, and shuck the rest. No, they go after the, you know, the rest of the shrimp. You know, like the kind of they serve with gumbo, and then they suck out the heads and stuff. It's like that is real shrimp flavor. I have experienced that kind of dining experience in my past, and that's kind of what we're talking about here. It's very absent. Like, I don't know what in here is supposed to be winning me over in terms of like a shrimp flavoring. There's just something gnarly going on here. But the base, when everything is said and done, it is not impressing me in terms of like any flavor. It's reminding me more of a bouillon. A very, very weak entry towards the sour portion of the soup. Like, you come across a proper hot and sour. This doesn't remind me of those at all. It reminds me of like cardboard. Like the noodles especially. I'm pretty sure it's the noodles. Like, what is up with these noodles, man? Just right on through to the end. They're just like bitter cardboard. It's a real bummer. I'm thinking the low point of this soup is going to be the noodles. It is like unforgivable. I cannot fathom these being released. Perhaps as long as I've had them, they might have had time to, I don't know, go off, if there is such a thing for ramen. I mean, they all have a best by date, but I don't think they really expire per se. This one, however, it just tastes terrible. I'm not a fan of the noodles. I'm not a super big fan of the broth, and I'm kind of sad that I chose this one today, because I will go ahead and finish it up. But man, low markings for sure. I'm gonna have to figure out the price too, but it's not worth it. Whatever it is, it's not worth it. As far as the price goes on this one, I think we're blazing new territory here too. No available price. This item is long since discontinued, apparently, for good reason. The Acecook product line is still extant, though, with a couple of very interesting additions, I would say. They have some like gimmick ramens, if you will. It seems that they might have had a lucrative tie-in with Pringles, everybody, because there's their little yakisoba container for some sour cream and onion Pringles, and then here's more Pringles right here. But we're going to assume that when this was available, it probably was something in terms of like 79 cents or cheaper. But that's a great big if. Gonna give some bonus points though for that many packets. I mean, I opened it up and there were two different, you know, envelopes in there, and one of them had 3 different packets in it. That's going above and beyond. So we're giving that like full bonus points, you know. We're giving that 3 bonus points, but it's not gonna make it up in the rest of the soup. So, noodles, let's get right down to it. I really don't like them. Are there any noodles that I can think of that I hate more? Maybe ones that come canned, like pre-cooked noodles in a can. Those are pretty disgusting. But I would have SpaghettiOs over this. I really would. Even this type of noodle, because they don't really leave that kind of same funkiness in your mouth. It tastes like some kind of a weird wheat egg noodle, and there's really none of the satisfaction that I have from those kind of noodles in here. So very disappointed. Giving these noodles a 2 out of 10. Any worse than this, and I would be like completely ignoring the rest of the ramen. I'm disappointed. I am a sad boy with this ramen, you guys. Do not get daily. Welcome to the neighborhood. Do not get daily ramen. Oh man, whatever Japanese technology they used, it was a bad one. Maybe they employed some of those hentai tentacles or something, because this is like, it just tastes like wrong. The broth we're going to give a 4 out of 10. I like it a little bit better than I would a Maruchan broth, which I would also say is like a 3 out of 10. The thing that makes Maruchan like sing is the price. You know, they're always like 10 cents, you know, a piece, or 10 for $1 or whatever, but they will kill you, so it's like, you just can't give that a pass. So you gotta give those each a 3 for the noodle and the broth. This one I'm giving a 4 because it tastes like it's a little bit more developed than a Maruchan ramen, and it has a little bit of that sourness too, and the heat. But I don't like it so much that I would give it anything close to like a 5, because I think I've given the kimchi ramens a 5 before, and like, those are way better. But we're giving those noodles a 2, we're giving that broth a 4, and bonus is definitely a +3 points on that. Packaging is +2, but this ramen is just one to avoid. I am not happy with it. And if you like this one, well, good on you. I can appreciate that you definitely have some exotic flavors that you like, but this one is not one for me. So thank you all so much for joining me on this episode of the Ramen Abyss. I hope you liked the Vina Acecook Daily Instant Ramen Hot Sour Soup Ramen. It was terrible. I hated it. See you guys next time. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching, everybody, and an even bigger thanks goes out to the people still supporting me on Patreon. You guys are amazing, and I'd like to thank you from the bottom of my heart for continuing your support. It really motivates me to keep me going. Also, remember to catch me on Twitch every day except Tuesdays and Saturdays, 5 to 10 p.m. I play loads of Binding of Isaac and Jackbox and other things too. Hope to see you there.